This episode is brought to you by the Ultimate Girls Trip. Here is our reoccurring daydream. Us at a drool-worthy pool, surrounded by our business besties. We just finished a powerful exercise on building our dream lives and executing our business goals. Join us if you are ready to be celebrated for taking up space, to feel purposeful, and to live a life of fulfillment. Go to proofitspossible.com for more info. Welcome to Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are multifaceted entrepreneurs, the founders of the Ultimate Girls Trip, and the hosts of Proof It's Possible. Jamie and I are also sisters, best friends, and complete opposites, but somehow we always manage to stay on the same team. Join us every week to hear our thoughts on all things entrepreneurship, friendship, family, pop culture, and more. Welcome back. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today we are talking about a topic that is a little bit controversial, taboo, judgy Judy a little bit. So we're going to chat about being awakened and arrogant. And so what ends up happening, I feel like, is people kind of get on their like self-help, bettering yourself journey, and then it's really easy to slip into the like, I've seen the light, so you should too, you know, and then be almost like judgmental of people who aren't really wanting to see the light, haven't seen the light yet, whatever stage they're at in their journey. And once you do start like seeing the world differently and being more positive or bettering yourself in these ways that are like inside, what happens when the people around you have no interest in it or don't understand you anymore or whatever? So what are your like initial thoughts on this?
Oh, I think this is like a very common thing.
Me too.
And in AA and Al-Anon, there is like this is a very normal concept that like when you're in your first kind of year of sobriety, your first year of healing, if you're like the loved one of an addict, that you become this like enlightened version of yourself. So if you do the 12 steps, the final step is that you have a spiritual awakening. And once you've had that spiritual awakening, you kind of get on your pedestal and are like, well, I've had my awakening. What about you? Like, when are you going to have yours? And you, so sometimes people fall into this idea that like, now that you're sober, now that you're healed, that everybody should, and they should, if they could only see how good it is on the other side, then they would do it. Surely they would do it if you could just tell them,
show them. Yeah.
You know, so you get on your little soapbox and you preach to them. I feel like religious organizations can kind of be like this too, where it's like, you know, they fully believe in whatever conviction they have, like whether that's, you know, God, Jesus, whatever they believe in. And they're like, if you could only see the light, if you could only see what I see, if you only knew what I knew, your life would be so much better. And you're probably not coming to heaven. And you're, you know, like, that's the whole premise behind it. And I feel like it can happen so easily in all different areas of our life.
Totally.
But right now, the whole world as a collective is kind of in this spiritual awakening, and people are working more on themselves than they ever have in my lifetime anyway. And I think that there can almost be this arrogance that comes with it, where it's like, well, I mean, have you read the Let Them book? Have you gone to a Tony Robbins thing? Have you... Do you know Gabrielle Bernstein, like by nickname Gabby? Yeah, of course. Yeah. So there's like this idea that if you're not doing enough self-help, then you're somehow a loser.
Or you're falling behind, right?
And you're falling behind. Yeah. But certainly if you're not doing something, then you're kind of the out crowd. Right. And I do think it can come off as arrogant. And I think that there's, I'm sure, times in my life when I've been on the awakened side of things and been like, well, probably if you could only see the light, it's a lot better over here. So,
I know I've been there. I know I have. Like when somebody's like really negative, I'm literally like, you know, there's a nicer way to be. You don't have to look for the bad and everything. But something that like sticks out so much for me, my very first like introduction to sort of self-help and like immersing yourself into it was going to Lori Harder's Bliss Project several years ago. And someone put up their hand and said, what happens when I go home and my husband doesn't understand who I am now? Because the woman was basically like, you know, I have a whole different outlook on everything. So he's not going to probably want to get on this journey with me. Like, and I think she was essentially asking, like, do I need a divorce now? Or can I
Mm-hmm.
like, can two things be true at once, you know? And Lori said something to the effect of like, it's okay if they aren't doing it too. And I thought, yeah, exactly. Like, this isn't for other people. This is for you
Mm-hmm.
to be your best. And everybody else is going to be themselves, whatever that is, if, whether they're striving to be their best or they're not. And the fact of it is, the more pushy you are about everyone thinking exactly the way that you do, like you can get dangerously close to being cult leader. So let's, you can't expect everyone in the world to think the same things as you, have the same political views as you,
Mm-hmm.
agree with you on everything, be your exact, person. And like your husband's a really good example because like Darren and I think different things about almost everything. We love each other a lot. We get along really well. But we definitely don't see the world from the same lens. Like we don't. I'm way more like emotional, he's way more practical. He has to think about everything. I'm like that sounds great. I'm doing it. I'm in. I'm
Yeah,
in if I
you're
like it. If
impulsive and he's
yeah.
not even a
And I
little.
buy from my heart. I think from my heart,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Mm-hmm.
not. So for me to think, well, my job now is to change him because I've got this new way of thinking. And so Lori's
Mm,
advice was,
but damn, do I try.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we got a little mini cult going over here, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
the two
I'm
of
like,
us.
it's great that you have your own thoughts and opinions, but mine are just better.
We're going
Um,
to listen to mine on this one. So
so
thank you for telling me what you think.
and
Um,
from now on, I'm going to encourage you to not speak those thoughts out loud. Just keep them inside. Just kidding. I'm
And
just kidding.
isn't that like the story of everyone's marriage? Because the thing is, we do come from like different homes that raised us and different worlds where we grew up and like what was important to people. So that is exactly the like challenge in this life. And Lori's opinion or like Lori's thing was behave as your best self. And the people that are like, oh, I'm interested in that will they don't need a teaching. They don't need you to come along and be like,
Hmm.
listen,
Preach to them.
yeah, and get preached at. If
Hmm.
if somebody to use your Al-Anon AA thing, if you go sober and you are just living your best life as a sober person, you're happy, you're healthy, you picked up good healthy habits, your relationships are better. Someone who's thinking about getting sober is just going to watch you. And what they're
Hmm.
going to do from that watching is they're actually not going to feel judged by you. They're not going to feel annoyed by you. They're going to feel like, you know what, that looks pretty good. Maybe
So
I should look into it.
there's a saying in the 12 step community where it's like attraction over promotion. So you
Yes.
be the person you want to be and people will be drawn to you. They'll be attracted to you
Or they
versus
won't be.
promoting who you
Yeah,
are. Like versus
exactly.
promoting that like, oh, the 12 step life is the best life for me. Nope,
Right.
just go to your meetings and if people are interested, they
Yeah,
will flock to you. If they're not, they won't. And that's
for
okay.
sure. For sure. No, and it's such a like interesting thing, this idea that like humility and growth and the complexity of a person's like personal transformation has to be their own. You can't be
Mm-mm.
better than because you did it. You can't push it on somebody else.
Well,
It
and like
your
as a
way.
strong hearted Capricorn over here,
Yeah,
you cannot tell me what to do. If you're telling me what to do, I'm like, okay, I'll just start running in the opposite direction because
exactly.
I hate being told what to do. Hate
Same,
it.
same. And I don't know what it's rooted in, but it honestly, the minute I'm feeling like I'm being sold to, like I'm being told what to think, or I need to think something, or I need to buy something, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't. Ooh, no. But if somebody's doing something that I'm interested in, or having the results that I'm interested in, do you think I'm buying their program? I am. I probably am,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
it's not because they came at me with their like,
Sales pitch.
yeah, with their, or they're like really pushy. I use because I'm an interior designer, I use the like furniture sales. You walk in the door of the store and there's three people that are like, hi, can I help you today? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know yet. Like, I'm going to look around first. Okay. Can I just get to know what the store has
Mm-hmm.
before I have to tell you what I'm looking for so that you can force me to buy the one thing you want me to buy and
Mm-hmm.
take me straight to it. Like I'd like to just walk the loop. let me walk the loop. And
Well,
then
and
I'll
like
feel
using
guilty.
that analogy, like for personal transformation, using that like furniture analogy, it's like you're coming in there to buy, a new chair, let's say.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, I own this sectional. This sectional is the best sectional, and this is the best sectional you're ever going to
Yeah.
buy. The fabric is fabulous. And she just goes on this tangent about a sectional. And it's like, well, I'm not even here to buy a sectional. So
Totally.
thank you for like telling me that you own it and it's great and
Hmm.
it's made your wildest dreams come true. But
Yeah.
that's not what I'm here shopping for. But that's kind
Exactly.
of what it feels like in life when someone's like,
Hmm.
they're on this newfound awakening, whatever that might be, like, cold plunging, let's say. And someone's like, you need to cold plunge. What are you doing? You're wasting your mornings. You're not getting up at 5 a.m. and working out. What's the matter with you? Like
Yeah.
that kind of energy. And it's like, I'm not even, I have a great workout routine. I don't. This is not
Totally.
a story about my life, but I'm just using it as an example. I have a great workout routine. So the assumption
Yeah.
that because I'm not doing it at 5 a.m. like you're doing it and I'm not starting it with a cold plunge, I'm somehow doing it wrong makes it
Hmm.
crazy.
For sure.
Like,
And then the opposite is true when, in my opinion, where if somebody's like, oh my gosh, you know what's amazing? I've been feeling so great this week because I started cold plunging. They're detached from the outcome of you ever cold plunging. They're just
mhm,
telling you their results and how it's really been making their workouts better or,
mhm,
whatever. Like, and for the furniture analogy, if you're going and looking for the chair, someone's trying to sell you a sectional and they're like, you know what I love about this brand? It's been so nice in my house because my kids can spill on it and it's fine, blah, blah, blah. You leave there and you maybe don't buy the sectional that day because you weren't there for a sectional. But what if in 2 years you are ready for the sectional? And
mhm.
you remember that lady because she
Or
sells
that lady told you about all the benefits of that
it.
brand, and you're like, oh, they have a great warranty. They're,
Hmm.
they're spill proof. They're all these things. Oh, well, maybe I should shop the chairs because I'm shopping for chairs. Maybe I should shop
Exactly.
the chairs of this brand.
Exactly. And you find the thing within it that fits you.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, we're not all going to have the same plan in this life. We're not all going to be the same person. We're not all going to think the same thoughts. And to
Hmm.
want that, you're setting yourself up for so much disappointment.
Hmm.
I haven't finished the book yet, but I'm in the middle of Mel Robbins' Let Them theory. And it's very much
Go
this. Like
ahead,
it's like,
get on your pedestal.
yep,
Tell us why if we're not reading it, we're losers.
you're losers. I mean, you're complete losers. So that's what I came here to say, and now I can log off because I said it. No, but it's basically detaching yourself from what other people are doing. Your emotions can't ride really high or really low as a result of somebody saying online that they hate our podcast. That's okay. They're actually okay, allowed to. Not everyone's going to like our podcast. So if somebody did hate our podcast and they thought they should write that, that's on them. I don't know. I mean, don't listen again or whatever.
Hmm.
It's okay. And you really have to take that approach to a lot of areas of your life because if you let every single disagreement or somebody not doing it your way or whatever it looks like, it is what it is.
Hmm.
And I
I
mean, I
totally
think
agree.
yeah, I think it's one of those things that like the closer the person is to you, the more you want to control them a little bit.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and the
Control
more that they're,
control is my favorite pastime. I basically wrote a book on like wanting to be in control. So, um, it's
see,
like
and I'm,
it's my default mode.
yeah.
Mode is to,
I'm a checkerboard controller because there's actually areas that I'm like, this is my area, so I'm planning it and I want to do it or whatever. But then
Mhm.
there's areas where I'm like, yeah, no, not mine. Not mine to own. Don't care about it. I would like that to be like I'll say to Darren, that's a you job, not a me job. And then there's things he'll say to me, that's a you job, not a me job. And like we just have our like areas because we don't care to control certain things or even have a say. There's times when I don't even, like Darren will be like, which water heater do you think we should get? And I'm like, don't care. You do the research, you understand how they work. I do not need to know about the water heater. My brain doesn't have capacity and I don't want to learn. Please
Mhm.
pick the water heater that makes sense to you and leave me out of it. You know?
Yep.
So I don't know. There's a time and a place for my controlling behavior.
I don't know how we got into control, but anyways, here
Anyways,
we
there's
are back
another
to being.
podcast around this to come, and more like a therapy session because it sounds like Jamie's needing to.
No, it's something I have to work on all the time. Like letting go of control.
Yeah,
It's a constant. It'll probably be till the day that I die, and it is what it is. But
Do you suppose it's because you're like the little sister that I just bossed and you never got control as a child, or like
No, I think that like energetically I am a Capricorn, so like that plays a big role. If you read any horoscope stuff on Capricorns, it's like it's
really?
their way or no way.
Okay.
I also think like my life circumstances, it's very typical of like the child of an alcoholic to either go very controlling or very subservient. It's very common for the spouse of an alcoholic to go very controlling, very subservient. So like I just feel like in all every time there was a fork in the road, I was like, ooh, control, control, control.
Yeah.
So
you're like, this feels so good.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Then,
I feel weird about control when I don't have it in the areas I care about it. So I think we're like
everybody to some degree has baggage to unpack on their controlling issues. Like
for sure.
More so than most people even realize.
For sure.
Like if you're packing your husband's suitcase, you've got control issues.
Oh yeah, totally.
You know, like little things that I'm like, does it really matter? No, but that's just like one area that you can control. If you decide what's for dinner every single night because you want to eat something you like, that's a control. That's like a form of control. Like we make all these decisions throughout our day that are moments, pockets of control.
Right, tiny little decisions.
Tiny little decisions where you can either be like, well, I don't care. I'll just fly by the seat of my pants, which has been me lately, and so I guess I don't control everything. I'm like, fend for yourself, kids.
So this is another thing I was wondering if we could talk about. Are the kids okay?
Yeah, they're living their best life.
Give up your controls.
We had French fries for 2 meals yesterday up at the ski hill, so
that's fine.
Yeah, there's no complaining from them.
I'm not going to be awakened and arrogant on your kids' food choices. I don't care.
Yeah, speaking of control, nickname, even the kids call you helicopter auntie. So
yeah, that's one of my areas that like no one else is doing the work I need them to make these kids safe. So why is the 11-year-old on the same bus? Hate it.
Other areas that you flex your control muscle, sending me like news stories of bad things that happen to kids that have any kind of freedom.
Yes. And how it's really scary and bad things can happen. So
everyone just get awakened and arrogant like her.
But you know what? If you want to join a cult, you should. So that's life advice from us. I mean, obviously you can tell we have
what you like, these are us.
We've got a lot of work to do, both of us.
Okay, until next time, guys. Bye.
Have a great week. We are so grateful you're here.
It would mean the world to us if you'll subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel and leave us a review.
If you want to hear more from us, go to proofitspossible.com to join our mailing list and find our social links so you don't miss a thing.
Thanks, and chat next time.